This tutorial is a character design tutorial. It's the next stage in developing characters after your silhouette stage. I call it the positive, negative, or the internal details. Instead of watching me draw and sketch, instead I'm just going to jump ahead and show you the actual process. So zooming in to the original characters here, I'm going to tab out to hide. This is being done in Adobe Photoshop CS6, but that's not specific to the tutorial right now. In the initial stage, what we do is we create a variety of character ideas. The purpose of the silhouette is once again to focus just on the silhouette of the actual characters and try to make them as dynamically different as possible. So in these first here I did about 4 of them there. You should remember to keep them small. They should be approximately 2 to 3 inches. I know that's very hard to learn to work a detail at that size, but the whole purpose of that is for you to create a whole array or a whole bunch of silhouette characters first and try to make each one dynamically different. In other words, if you gave a small head in one, go ahead and go in a large head in another one, go to a female, go to a child. Try to make them as dynamic as possible. Now, I recommend doing a whole page of these. That should be anywhere from 6 to about 10 thumbnails on an 8.5 by 11. You can do these by hand as well using some markers. Once you do have one that you like, I jumped ahead here in the interest of moving the tutorial along. I do one that's about 5 inches tall, 5 or 6 inches tall. In other words, double the size. It's a little bit more detailed there. Lets me have a little bit more control. In this case, I'm working on the unlikely hero is the theme that I've been developing here. And at this size, you can see I got a little bit more textured into the hair. Got an ear detail there, sword. She's carrying a small child in some sort of backpack or wrap around her body. And then I showed a little bit of gray there just to suggest maybe it's a possible semi-transparent type of material that she's got wrapped around her. At that point, I copy and paste that larger silhouette and make it about 8 inches, 7 to 8 inches tall. So it's from about 5 inches to about this one's a little bit smaller there. I make it a little bit larger. This one's about 7 inches tall now. Now what you want to do with this one here is have your silhouette details all figured out. So I just came in here and what I did is I was sketching just with a small brush, 10 pixels in this case. I went down to as far as 3 pixels, 93% hardness, and I'm sketching a lot with just white. Now what I recommend doing when you do this is to also drop your opacity. White goes on pretty fast. I'm using like a 30% opacity here. And then just kind of go in there with that white and just kind of lightly sketch in there and work out any additional details that you need to internally. Now this is still just about taking those large black sections, not working on the silhouette any longer, but instead working on the internal details and trying just to figure out what the heck is going on inside of there. You can see I've deviated. I made the boots here a little bit smaller than my initial silhouette. It's okay to go ahead and make changes or deviate from that silhouette a little bit, but remember you spent all that time figuring that out. Work on these larger detailed type sketches. Now if you're more comfortable working with shapes, this is a linear solution there. You can also work with shapes as well, and you would just use a larger brush with that. I'll go ahead and I'll increase my brush size. Make sure you do save often, and then you just start going through with just that light opacity and then just start playing much more with positive and negative shapes here. So the idea behind this unlikely hero is she has a small child. She had some sort of skirt or dress which now she has ripped or cut with her sword and is now tying that around and tucking it in behind there just to create some more movement or the capability of moving a little bit more in case there's any type of battle that she needs to do. So always go back to your original thumbnail, your storyline, your idea, and as you're working these particular segments out, you're trying to really break it up now, the large segments from the smaller segments, and you just start working from gray all the way up to light. Feel free to even drop your opacity further down. Obviously skin tone, I want to start lightening up here a little bit, and then start picking out an overall direction of the light source itself. So you want to definitely work this up. Now with skin tone, I often drop down my opacity much lower and move ahead and do a lot more of finished sketch here. So I'm going to stop this tutorial at this point. I'm just going back into the rendering stages now. I do recommend that you go ahead and experiment, and the whole purpose of this is to help you not draw the same type of characters that you usually draw, but it's approach your drawing from a new manner that will hopefully give you a much more original design. Thanks again for watching. This is 5minutetutorials.com. I hope you enjoy this, and the best compliment you can always give us is a referral.